If you ever see a house in the woods that wasn't there before, don't go inside. I know that sounds obvious, but when you're a teenager, bored out of your mind, hanging out with your friends at night, stupid decisions feel like adventures. And sometimes those adventures follow you home. What I'm about to tell you happened 3 years ago. 4 of us were there that night. Only 3 of us came back. It started on a Friday night in October, the kind of cold night where the air smells like wet leaves and smoke from chimneys. Nothing unusual, just me, my friends Max, Tyler, and Josh walking through the forest trail outside our town. We'd walked those woods hundreds of times before. Everyone in town knew that trail. Kids rode bikes there, people walked their dogs there, couples went there to drink beer and watch the stars. There was nothing scary about it, at least not during the day. That night we were just killing time. Tyler had brought a flashlight, Max had a backpack full of snacks, and Josh kept playing creepy music on his phone trying to scare us. "Dude, turn that off," Max laughed. "You're not in a horror movie." Josh just grinned. You never know. We walked deeper into the woods, the gravel crunching under our shoes. The moon was barely visible behind thick clouds, and the trees looked like dark skeletons stretching into the sky. But we weren't scared. We were just talking, joking around, being idiots. Then Tyler suddenly stopped walking. "Wait," he said. We all bumped into him. "What?" I asked. Tyler slowly pointed ahead into the trees. "There's a house." We looked where he was pointing. And yeah, there was definitely a house. Old. 2 stories. Dark windows. It stood maybe 50 meters off the trail, half hidden between tall trees and dead branches. The weird thing was, none of us had ever seen it before. Max frowned. "That's impossible." "What?" Josh asked. "This trail loops around the forest," Max said. "My uncle hunts here. I've been here since I was a kid." He looked at the house again. There's never been a house there. We all stood there quietly for a few seconds. The wind moved through the trees with a soft whisper. Tyler laughed nervously. "Maybe they built it recently?" Josh shook his head. "No lights, no road, no cars." He pulled out his phone and zoomed in with the camera. The screen lit up his face. "Guys," he said slowly. "What?" I asked. Josh turned the phone toward us. "Look at the windows." At first I didn't see anything. Just darkness. Then the clouds shifted and the moonlight touched the glass for a moment. And I swear, for half a second. I thought I saw someone standing inside, watching us. For a moment, none of us said anything. We just stared at the house. "Did you see that?" Josh asked quietly. "See what?" Tyler said. "In the window." Max squinted toward the house again. "I didn't see anything." Josh looked confused. "I swear someone was standing there. I felt a weird chill run down my back. Not because of the cold, but because the house didn't look normal. It looked abandoned. The paint was peeling off the wooden walls. Parts of the roof looked like they were sinking in. The windows were dusty and dark, like no one had cleaned them in years. But if the place was abandoned, why did it feel like someone was inside?" Tyler stepped a little closer toward the trees. "Well," he said, trying to sound brave, "there's one way to find out." Max grabbed his jacket. "Oh no, nope, we're not doing that." Josh laughed. "Come on, dude, it's probably just an old cabin." "Exactly," Max said. "Old cabin in the middle of the woods at night. That's how horror movies start." I looked back at the trail behind us. Part of me wanted to just leave. But another part of me was curious. Really curious. "You guys ever noticed it before?" I asked. They all shook their heads. Tyler crossed his arms. "Look, we've been walking this trail for years. If that house was always there, we would have seen it." He pointed at it again. "But tonight, there it is." The wind moved through the trees again, making the branches creak softly. Josh turned his phone flashlight toward the house. The beam barely reached the front yard, but we could see more details now. A broken wooden fence, tall weeds growing everywhere, and a narrow path leading to the front door. Tyler grinned. "Let's check it out." Max groaned. "Why are we like this?" Josh started walking toward the house. "Well," he said, "if there's a creepy ghost inside, we'll finally have something cool to post online." Yeah, Tyler laughed, following him. I hesitated for a second. Then I followed too. Max sighed loudly behind us. You idiots are going to get us killed. The closer we got to the house, the stranger it felt. The forest suddenly became quiet. Too quiet. No wind. No insects. No distant road noise. Just the sound of our footsteps on wet leaves. When we reached the fence, Josh pushed the broken gate open. It made a long, rusty squeak that echoed through the trees. We walked into the yard. Up close, the house looked even worse. The wood was rotting. Some of the windows were cracked. The porch leaned slightly to one side like it might collapse at any moment. Tyler climbed the steps first. They creaked under his weight. Relax, he said, turning to us with a grin. See? Totally normal. Josh pointed his flashlight at the front door. It was slightly open, just a few inches, like someone had left it that way, or like something had gone inside. Max stopped walking. Guys, he said quietly, this is a bad idea. Tyler slowly pushed the door open. The hinges groaned loudly in the silence. The darkness inside the house swallowed the beam of the flashlight. And then Josh said something that made my stomach drop. Guys? What? I asked. He pointed the light at the floor just inside the doorway. There were footprints in the dust. Fresh ones. Like someone had walked inside. Just a few minutes ago, we all leaned closer to look. The flashlight beam shook slightly in Josh's hand as it lit up the dusty wooden floor. The footprints were clear. Way too clear. 2 rows of them leading from the door deeper into the house. Tyler frowned. Okay, that's weird. Max stepped back down from the porch. Nope, that's it. I'm done. Someone's living here. Josh slowly shook his head. No way. What do you mean, no way? Max said. You literally see the footprints. Josh pointed the flashlight closer. Look at them. We leaned in again. And that's when I noticed something strange. They weren't coming into the house. They were going inside, but there were no footprints coming out. Tyler rubbed the back of his neck. So whoever walked in there never left. Max crossed his arms. Great, that's exactly what I wanted to hear. For a few seconds we just stood there on the porch. No one moved. The darkness inside the house felt heavy, like the air itself didn't want us there. Josh cleared his throat. Well, maybe they're still inside. Max looked at him like he'd lost his mind. And you want to go in there and meet them? Tyler laughed nervously. Relax. It's probably some hunter or homeless guy. I wasn't so sure. The house didn't look like anyone had lived there in years. And the forest around us was still completely silent. No animals. No wind. Nothing. Josh stepped over the doorway. Well, guess we'll find out. His shoe pressed into the dust, leaving another fresh footprint beside the others. Josh, Max said sharply. But Josh had already stepped inside. Tyler followed right after him. Come on, he said. Don't chicken out now. I hesitated at the door. The inside smelled old. Like wet wood, mold, and something else. Something metallic. Josh moved the flashlight around the room. It looked like an old living room. A broken couch. A small table with one missing leg. Torn wallpaper hanging off the walls. Everything was covered in a thick layer of dust. Except the footprints. They continued across the floor toward a dark hallway. Josh pointed the light at them. See? They go that way. Max was still standing outside. I swear to God if something jumps out. Relax, Tyler said. There's nothing here. I stepped inside. The floor creaked loudly under my weight. The sound echoed through the entire house. Too loud, like the house itself was listening. Max sighed and finally walked in behind me. Fine, he muttered. But if we die, I'm blaming all of you. Josh slowly walked toward the hallway, following the footprints. Each step stirred little clouds of dust into the air. The beam of light revealed more of the house. Old picture frames. A broken lamp. A staircase leading to the second floor. And then Josh suddenly stopped. Guys. His voice sounded different. Tight. Nervous. What? Tyler asked. Josh slowly turned the flashlight toward the wall beside the hallway. At first, I thought they were just normal pictures. Dozens of them. Old photographs in wooden frames. But when the light moved across them, my stomach dropped. Every photo showed the same thing. People standing outside this exact house. Different people. Different years. Different clothes. Families. Couples. Groups of friends. All of them smiling. Standing right where we had been standing a few minutes ago, and at the very end of the wall. There were 4 empty frames. Tyler laughed nervously. Okay, that's creepy. Josh slowly moved the flashlight lower. And that's when Max whispered something behind me. Guys! What? I asked. His voice sounded pale, like all the blood had drained from his face. For a second, we all just stared at the wall. 4 empty frames. They were newer than the others, cleaner, like someone had placed them there recently. Tyler forced a laugh. Okay, that's a good prank. No one answered. Josh slowly moved the flashlight closer to the frames. The wood was old, but the glass was perfectly clean. No dust, no cracks. Just 4 empty spaces waiting for pictures. Max spoke quietly. Why would someone hang empty frames? I shrugged, but my stomach felt tight. Maybe they fell out? Josh shook his head. No. He pointed the flashlight at the floor under the frames. There's no broken glass. Tyler stepped closer to the wall. All right, this place is officially weird. He leaned closer to one of the photos beside the empty frames. The picture looked old, maybe from the 80s. A family of 5 standing in front of the house. The father had his arm around the kids. Everyone was smiling. But the smiles looked wrong. Too stiff. Too forced. Like they were scared. Josh moved the flashlight to the next photo. Another group. 3 teenagers standing on the porch. Their clothes looked like they were from the early 2000s. Max leaned closer. Wait. What? I asked. He pointed at the picture. That guy. One of the boys in the photo looked familiar. Not someone we knew, but his face looked like someone we could have gone to school with. Normal. Real. Which made the whole thing even creepier. Tyler crossed his arms. So what? This house just collects photos of people. Josh didn't answer. He was staring at something further down the wall. Guys. His voice was quieter now. Look at this one. We stepped closer. The flashlight beam revealed another photo. 4 people standing in front of the house. 3 guys. 1 girl. They looked about our age. Probably high school students. Max frowned. What's wrong with it? Josh didn't say anything. He just moved the flashlight slightly to the right. And then I saw it. In the background of the photo. Inside the house. Through the dark window behind them. There was a shape. Tall. Black. Standing inside the room. Watching them. Tyler immediately stepped back. Nope. Josh laughed nervously. Probably just a shadow. But I couldn't stop staring at it. Because it didn't look like a shadow. It looked like a person. Max turned away from the wall. Okay, I'm serious now. Let's leave. For once, no one argued. Tyler nodded. Yeah, I've had enough creepy house for one night. Josh turned off the hallway and pointed the flashlight back toward the front door. Cool, let's go. We walked quickly through the living room. The floor creaked louder now, like the house didn't like us leaving. I reached the door first, and I froze. Guys, Tyler walked into me. What now? I pointed at the door. It was closed. Completely closed. Max frowned. Didn't we leave it open? Josh walked up and grabbed the handle. He pulled. The door didn't move. He pulled harder. Still nothing. Tyler tried next. The wood groaned under the pressure, but the door wouldn't open. Max laughed nervously. Okay, funny joke. Who locked it? No one, Josh said. And then we heard something upstairs. A slow, heavy step. Cree-ok. Another one. Like someone had just started walking across the second floor. No one moved. We all just stood there in the middle of the living room, staring up at the ceiling. Creak. Another slow step echoed from the second floor. The sound was heavy, like someone tall or something heavy was walking above us. Tyler whispered, "Please tell me that's just the house settling." Josh slowly shook his head. "Houses don't walk." Max stepped back from the door. "Okay, new plan." "What plan?" I asked. "We leave," he said, "right now." Josh tried the door again. He twisted the handle and slammed his shoulder against it. Bang! Nothing. The door didn't move at all. Tyler grabbed the handle next and pulled as hard as he could. "Come on!" The wood groaned, but it stayed shut. Creak. Another step upstairs. Closer now. Max looked up toward the staircase. "Yeah, I really don't like that." Josh turned the flashlight toward the stairs. The beam of light stretched upward into darkness. The second-floor hallway was barely visible, but the sound had definitely come from up there. Tyler whispered, "Maybe it's the person who made the footprints." Max glared at him. "Great, so someone's been living in a haunted photo house in the woods." Josh tried to laugh, but it came out shaky. "Maybe we should, say hello." No one liked that idea. The house suddenly made another loud crack. The walls shifted slightly. Dust fell from the ceiling. Then we heard something else. Not footsteps. Breathing. Slow. Deep. Somewhere upstairs. Tyler whispered, "Do you guys hear that?" We all nodded. Max grabbed my arm. "That's it. We break a window." Josh quickly turned the flashlight toward the front windows. But when the light hit the glass, he froze. Guys?" "What now?" Max said. Josh slowly walked toward the window. We followed him. The flashlight beam reflected off the glass. But something was wrong. The glass wasn't clear anymore. It looked black, like thick darkness was pressed against it from the outside. Tyler frowned. "What the hell?" Josh wiped the glass with his sleeve. The darkness didn't move. It was like the entire forest outside had disappeared. No trees. No moonlight. Nothing. Just endless black. Max whispered, "That wasn't there before." My heart started beating faster. We literally walked in from outside. Josh knocked on the glass. Tap. The sound echoed strangely, almost like we weren't knocking on a normal window. Tyler stepped back slowly. "Okay, that's not normal." Then the breathing upstairs suddenly stopped. The house went completely silent. No footsteps. No creaking. Nothing. For about 5 seconds, there was absolute silence. And then, thud. Something heavy hit the floor upstairs, right above us. Josh turned the flashlight back toward the staircase. The beam of light climbed the steps slowly. No movement. No shadows. But then, something appeared at the top of the stairs. At first, it just looked like darkness. But the darkness was moving, slowly stretching downward along the wall, like a shadow. That didn't belong to anything. Max whispered, "Guys!" His voice was shaking now. For a moment, none of us breathed. The shadow at the top of the stairs slowly stretched along the wall like black liquid. It didn't look like a normal shadow. Normal shadows come from light. This one looked like it was creating the darkness itself. Josh's flashlight started shaking in his hand. "Tell me that's just a trick of the light," he whispered. But the beam was pointed straight at it, and the shadow was still there, moving. Tyler took a slow step backward. "Okay, yeah, I'm done." Max grabbed a broken chair from the floor. "Good idea. Let's just calmly back away and—" Then the shadow moved again. But this time, it wasn't just stretching. It stepped. One long shape slid forward onto the top stair. And we heard something with it. Scraye, A-A-P-E, like long nails dragging across wood. Josh's flashlight jumped upward. For half a second, the light fully hit the thing. And I wish it hadn't, because it wasn't just a shadow. It had a shape. Tall. Too tall. Its head almost touched the ceiling upstairs. Its arms were long and thin, hanging down like black branches. But the worst part was its face. or where the face should have been. There was nothing there. Just a darker hole in the darkness. Tyler screamed first. "What the hell is that?" The thing suddenly moved. Not walking. Sliding. Down the stairs. Fast. "Run!" Max shouted. We all backed away at the same time. Josh turned and ran into the hallway. "The footprints! This way!" None of us argued. We ran after him, our shoes slamming against the dusty floor. Behind us, we heard the stairs screaming under the creature's weight. Creak! Crack! It was coming down fast. Josh followed the footprints into the dark hallway. The flashlight beam jumped across old doors and peeling wallpaper. "Where do they go?" Tyler yelled. Josh pointed. "Here." The footprints led to a door at the end of the hallway. Josh grabbed the handle and yanked it open. Inside was another room. Small, empty, except for something on the walls. Photos. More photos. Hundreds of them. Every wall covered. Max slammed the door behind us. "Block it!" We pushed a broken cabinet in front of the door. The room smelled old and dusty. Josh turned the flashlight toward the photos, and what we saw made my stomach twist. These pictures weren't like the ones in the hallway. These ones showed people inside the house, walking through rooms, standing in the hallway, looking scared. Some were running. Some were screaming. And some were staring directly at the camera, like they knew they were being watched. Tyler whispered, "These are the people from the other wall." Max pointed to one picture near the corner. "Guys." We looked closer. It showed 4 teenagers standing in the living room, just like us. Same place. Same staircase behind them. The picture looked recent. Too recent. Because one of the people in the photo was wearing the exact same hoodie Josh was wearing right now. Josh's voice came out barely above a whisper. "That's not possible." Then we heard something outside the door. Scray-a, A-A-P-E. Slow nails dragging across the wood. And then, a quiet knock. 3 slow taps. Tap, 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 tap. None of us moved. We just stared at the door. The voice had sounded wrong. Not loud, not angry, just quiet, almost calm. Like someone politely asking you to do something. "Smile." Tyler whispered. Did that thing just talk?" Josh slowly shook his head, but he looked pale. "I don't think it was talking." Another slow scrape came from the other side of the door. Screa, A-A-P-E. Like something long was sliding across the wood. Max tightened his grip on the broken chair leg he was holding. Whatever that thing is, it's right outside. No one argued. The room felt smaller now. The flashlight beam jumped across the photos on the walls, and the more I looked at them, the worse it got. Some of the people in the photos were standing in the exact room we were in. Some were hiding in corners. Some were trying to open doors. And some were lying on the floor, not moving. Tyler pointed to one picture. "Guys, look at this." We stepped closer. The photo showed the hallway we had just run through. The door to this room was open, and inside the photo we could see 4 figures running toward the room. Us. Same clothes. Same positions. It looked exactly like what had just happened a few minutes ago. Josh's voice shook. "How is that possible?" Max swallowed. "These photos, they're happening right now." Another knock came from the door. 2AP. 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 This time the wood bent slightly inward with each tap. Tyler whispered, "It's trying to come in." Josh turned the flashlight around the room again. "There has to be another way out." The beam landed on the back wall, and we noticed something we hadn't seen before. Another door. Smaller. Hidden between 2 photo frames. Max rushed over and tried the handle. Locked. "Of course it is," he muttered. Behind us, the creature dragged something along the door again. Skraa, Ape. The cabinet we had pushed in front of it shifted slightly. Tyler's eyes widened. It's moving it. Max grabbed the cabinet and pushed it back harder. Help me! We all shoved the cabinet tighter against the door. For a moment, the scraping stopped. The house went quiet again. Josh whispered, maybe it left. But then something strange happened. The flashlight flickered. Once. Twice. And when the beam moved across the photos again, something had changed. I noticed it first. Guys. Tyler turned toward me. What? I pointed at the wall. The photo of us running down the hallway had changed. Before, we were all facing the room, running toward the door. Now, one of us had turned around. In the photo, Josh was looking back down the hallway, right toward the camera. His face looked terrified. Josh stared at the picture. I didn't do that. Max leaned closer. What do you mean? I never turned around, Josh said. We all looked at him. Then, slowly, back at the photo. Because if Josh didn't turn around, then the picture was showing something that hadn't happened yet. And then Josh suddenly whispered, Guys! What? Tyler asked. Josh pointed at the photo with a shaking hand. In that picture. There's something behind me. We all leaned closer to the photo. The flashlight beam trembled as Josh pointed at the picture. And he was right. Behind the version of him in the photo, at the far end of the hallway, something was standing there. Tall. Black. That same unnatural shape we had seen on the stairs. Only in the photo it looked clearer. Its arms were long enough to almost touch the floor. Its body looked twisted, like it didn't quite understand how human bodies were supposed to stand. And its head, it was tilted sideways, like it was studying him. Tyler whispered, That thing was behind us the whole time. Max shook his head. No, that's worse. What? I asked. Max pointed at the photo again. That picture was taken after we ran in here. My stomach dropped. Because he was right. The photo showed Josh turning around, which meant the creature had already been standing there, watching us. Before we even closed the door, behind us the wooden door suddenly creaked loudly. Cra-A-C-K. The cabinet we had pushed against it slid a few centimeters across the floor. Tyler jumped. It's pushing! Max shoved the cabinet back again. Help me! We pushed together, forcing it back into place. The knocking started again, but this time it was harder. Bang! The door shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. Josh turned the flashlight toward the second door on the back wall again. There has to be a way through that. Max tried the handle one more time. Still locked. Tyler looked around the room. Maybe there's a key? The flashlight moved across the walls. Photos. More photos. Hundreds of them. But something about them felt different now. The people inside them weren't just posing anymore. They were moving, running, hiding. The house had been watching them the entire time. Josh suddenly stepped closer to another photo. Wait. We joined him. This one showed a group of 5 people inside the same room we were standing in now. They looked older than us. Maybe college students. One of them was trying to open the back door. The same door Max had been trying to open. Tyler leaned closer. Did they get out? Josh moved the flashlight to the next photo beside it. The same group, but now there were only 4 of them. Max swallowed. Where's the 5th one? Josh slowly moved the light again. The next photo showed the hallway. The tall black creature was standing there. And in its long arm, it was holding someone. Tyler stepped back. Nope. Max ran his hand through his hair nervously. So the house keeps photos of everyone who comes in here. Josh nodded slowly. And the empty frames are for the people who just arrived. The door behind us suddenly slammed again. Bang. This time the cabinet slid almost halfway across the floor. The wood cracked loudly. Tyler yelled, It's breaking the door! Max pushed the cabinet back with all his strength. We can't hold it forever. Josh turned the flashlight back toward the photo wall. His eyes suddenly widened. Guys, what? I asked. He pointed at the newest photo. The one of us running into the room. But now it had changed again. In the picture, the door behind us had opened, and the tall, black creature was standing inside the room. Right behind us, Josh whispered slowly. That picture. For a few seconds, none of us spoke. We just stared at the photo. In the picture, the creature had already entered the room. Its long arms stretched across the floor behind us like a black branch. And the worst part, the version of us in the photo didn't even know it was there yet. Tyler whispered, "That thing is about to come in here." Right on cue, the door behind us exploded with another violent hit. Bang! The cabinet jumped forward across the floor. The wood cracked loudly. Max shoved it back again, breathing hard. "It's breaking through!" Josh looked back at the photo wall again. There has to be something here we're missing. Tyler grabbed the flashlight from him and started shining it quickly across the pictures. Look for anything different. The light jumped from frame to frame. Running people. Terrified faces. Doors. Hallways. Stairs. Then I noticed something. Wait. The others looked at me. I pointed at one of the photos near the bottom of the wall. This one. It showed a boy standing in this exact room. But instead of running or hiding, he was touching the wall beside the small door. Tyler leaned closer. "What's he doing?" Josh pointed at the picture. "He's pushing something." Max rushed to the wall and started feeling along the wooden panels. Like a hidden switch? Bang! The door behind us shook again. A loud crack spread across the wood. Tyler shouted, "Hurry!" Max ran his hands across the wall. Old wood. Dust. Photo frames. Then suddenly, click! A small part of the wall shifted under his hand. Josh spun the flashlight toward it. A thin wooden panel slid open slightly. Behind it, there was a small metal key. Max grabbed it instantly. "Please tell me this works." The cabinet behind us suddenly slammed forward again as the door split down the middle. C-R-A-A-A-A-C-K. A long black shape pushed through the broken wood. Tyler screamed, "It's coming through!" The creature's arm forced its way into the room, stretching across the floor toward us. It was longer than I remembered. Too long. The fingers scraped across the wooden floor. S-Q-R-A-A-A-P. Max ran to the small door and shoved the key into the lock. "Come on! Come on!" Behind us, the door finally broke open. The cabinet flew across the room. The tall black creature unfolded itself through the doorway. Its body bent in ways that didn't make sense. Its head slowly turned toward us, even without a face. You could feel it looking. Max twisted the key. For a second, nothing happened. Then, click! The lock opened. Tyler threw the door open. "Move!" We ran toward it. Behind us, the creature suddenly rushed forward across the floor with impossible speed. Josh dove through the doorway first. Then Tyler. Then me. Max was the last one through. He slammed the door behind us just as the creature's long arm shot toward the opening. The fingers slammed against the wood. Thud. For a moment, everything went silent. We were standing in complete darkness on the other side of the door. Our breathing was loud. Panicked. Josh whispered, "Did we lose it?" Max slowly turned the key again, locking the door from our side. "I hope so." Then Josh lifted the flashlight. The beam lit up the room around us, and my stomach dropped instantly, because the room we had just entered was the same living room we started in. The broken couch, the staircase, the front door. Tyler whispered slowly, "We're back at the beginning." We froze. The room looked exactly the same. The broken couch, the staircase, the front door, even the photos on the walls. I whispered, "No, this can't be real." Josh shined the flashlight around. The dust on the floor looked the same. The footprints we had followed earlier were still there, fresh, leading from the front door to the hallway. Tyler's hands were shaking. It looped us back. We didn't escape. We're inside it again. Max swallowed hard. "So what, the house keeps us, like the others?" I looked at the wall of photos. Every single frame was moving again. Faces we hadn't noticed before, people frozen in terror. And then I saw it. 4 empty frames. The same number as us. Josh's voice barely came out. It wants us in the pictures. I took a step closer. The frames were glowing faintly, like they were waiting. My heart pounded so hard I thought it would burst. Then something cold brushed against my arm. I yelped and swung the flashlight around. Nothing. Only the shadows stretching across the walls. But then, the photos shifted again. This time, one of the empty frames started filling in. A blurry figure appeared. I could barely make out its shape, but it was moving, slowly turning toward the camera in the frame. Tyler gasped. "That's Josh!" Josh turned around in real life, his eyes wide with panic. No, I didn't move. I didn't." And then it clicked. The house didn't just capture people after they entered. It captured them before they even left. Every photo showed what was about to happen. I looked at the second empty frame. My heart stopped. It was me. The blurry shape in the frame was moving closer toward the camera, toward us. Tyler screamed, "Run!" We bolted toward the small door at the back again, but the hallway behind us stretched farther than it should. The staircase loomed impossibly high, twisting into darkness, looping around in ways that made no sense. We ran blindly, crashing through dust and broken furniture. The scraping and knocking followed us. A low, inhuman whisper echoed behind us. "Smile." We finally stumbled through the small door again. My chest burned, my legs were shaking. We slammed it shut, locked it. Max's hands were bleeding from trying to turn the key over and over. For a moment, silence. We dared to breathe. Then Josh, trembling, shined the flashlight. The room was empty. No staircase, no front door, no couch. Just 4 empty frames. 4, waiting. And then I realized, with a chill running straight down my spine, the frames on the wall weren't empty anymore. They were smiling. Can you survive the haunted house? Eyes. Drop a comment if you dare to go inside. Don't forget to smash that like and subscribe for more terrifying stories every week.